Good afternoon. This is the video newsletter for Buy Sell Short for Sunday, October 17th. Fantastic week last week. It's just been a great month, great couple of months actually for the newsletter. Continued again this past week. Friday, we saw the market sort of chop around. We had the NASDAQ up big thanks to huge moves in Google and Apple. We also had options expiration on Friday, which tainted a lot of the movement. Volume was very, very heavy. If we actually look at the daily chart here on the Dow, you can see volume sort of shows a negative uh, possible top in the Dow. But again, as I mentioned, all options related. And the big reason we had the market down on Friday was the dollar was up. And as you all know, over the last 2 months, whatever the dollar does, the market does the opposite. And we had the dollar up pretty decently on Friday, which sent stocks lower. The only reason we weren't down even more was, again, options expiration. We had the Fed chairman talking before the market opened on Friday, talking about QE2 quantitative easing that's coming, but it's unlikely to come before the election and before the next Fed meeting that November 2nd and 3rd. So after Bernanke actually talked on Friday, we saw the dollar start its move. Unlikely that it's going to, hold up. The dollar has been pretty much getting beat over the head. If we actually look at the dollar chart, you can see since that head and shoulders breakdown, it's just gone straight down, and we've got a possible technical bottom here. It's deeply oversold. But I mean, the reason for the jump on Friday essentially was, oh, the Fed's not going to do any quantitative easing for the next 2 weeks. Hey, let's rally the dollar here. Probably goes away again this week, and then the market will do opposite of what the dollar does. So we'll take our cues from the dollar tomorrow. SMH right below that major resistance level now at $29. So it's going to be interesting to see how it acts. Going back actually to the daily chart, support right now is a 20-day exponential. So if we did see any sort of retrace early this week, this is where we would look for support to come in on the Dow. That's around the 10,880 or so level. Anyway, let's jump into stock plays right now, and then we can go back and talk about the market if we've got some time at the end. ABTL, Auto Bitel. We've played this one before. Just a great bottomed out chart setup play. Sort of got an angle on Google. These guys sell advertising for cars. So you go and you search for a used car or a new car online, and more than likely or not, you're going to get Auto Bitel listings. And car dealerships pay Auto Bitel for the number of people who actually go and end up buying cars. Chart looks great. Has lots of cash, no debt on its balance sheet. We got RSI breaking up. Big, big, big volume spike on Friday. Stochastics breaking 50, ADX looks good. We got that volume spike. We had a large fund selling out on Friday, which pretty much held the stock back, especially late in the day. That last hour on Friday, we saw about 5 to 750,000 shares cross at 90 cents, and then we started seeing a lot of huge blocks crossing 60K, 80K, 240K. Typically, when you see that kind of action, the next day sees a nice gap and run. So we'll be looking for a move over $1 tomorrow. 200-day moving average at 102. A break of that level, and we're looking at 112 to 120 as target on ABTL. CDII. This past week we had some monster movers in our China metal stocks. CHGS, SHZ gave us 50% gains. CDII been sort of sleeping over the last few days, waiting for that breakout of the 200-day moving average at 142. We finally got that late on Friday. Big volume spike, a push through that level, and this cup and handle formation, we could and should see a very big move tomorrow on CDII, and we're looking for 160 to 170 minimum on the upside. Chart looks really, really good. If I was trailing stops on this one, stops right now would be the 8-day moving average at 138, but I think this one should get a very nice move on it tomorrow. NLS, new trading alert early on Friday. Nautilus Group, they sell that exercise equipment. As I mentioned in the trading alert, as you can see, the stock was beaten down during the summer, especially in August. They have customers. The problem was the bank that they do their financing through was not approving anyone. So they switched to a new bank, and they mentioned that they are now starting to get their new financer is approving their customers, which means sales are going to go up. We're right there at that 50-day moving average. Target is on a break of that 144 level. Really no resistance until we get to that 160, 170 plus area. RSI breaking 50, stochastics breaking 50, positive ADX cross. Chart looks great. Should be a very nice near-term move here on NLS. OVRL, storage stock play, as I mentioned, low float, but we've got some pressure on it from probably a fund selling out. These storage stocks usually take a few days to really start motoring. Remember all the trouble we had on HILL, and then all of a sudden it busted out 25%. The sector continues to be on fire. HILL, QTM, ISLN, new highs. Here we've got a new cloud storage play trading under $1.50. Very strong support, multi-year lows. Love the setup. Would be accumulating at 150 and under. Target 165 and 195 on this play. PKT, this is our new pound the table stock. Nice breakout on Thursday, and then typical of Amex stocks on Friday, especially late in the day. We had some day traders taking some off the table going into the weekend. Love the symmetrical triangle breakout here. The next move through 58 cents is where I would look to load the boat on this one for a move to 65 and 75.80 cents here. Rock solid support at the 200-day moving average at 49 and change. So, this is typical for this stock. We probably need a volume day of 1.5 million, and this one is off to the races. NEI almost broke out there on Wednesday. Over the last couple of days, it's retraced on really low volume back to the 50-day moving average, which is where that last breakout move started. So would look for this one to snap back tomorrow and Tuesday. And again, for now we're still playing it light. That break of 170 is where we'll really look to add a decent sized position for a move back to that 200-day moving average up there in the twos. Quick mention on ARNA. It's been sort of retracing here. They've got their FDA meeting on Thursday, or on Friday, I believe, the 22nd. So we're going to play this one to the day before the FDA meeting. Sell out. Hopefully we're selling out up at the 20-day exponential up there, 224. Otherwise, if we don't get the pop that we're expecting, possible angle is to pick up a couple of gamble call options. Maybe the November $2.50 calls at a quarter, just in case the FDA actually does approve this one. So still thinking we're going to get a run into that FDA meeting on Friday. So that is the plan. And we'll play it by ear during the week. Quick mention on PIP. Got a pump on this one on Thursday and Friday. As you can see, the stock is up huge. The reason here, a hedge fund that owns a chunk of the shares posted an article on Seeking Alpha saying the stock was worth $20 based on some court case. They're suing SIGA. Goes to court in January, but somehow the stock is up 300% now. Also coincides with warrants that actually became eligible to be sold and exercised right when this move started. I wonder if it's the same hedge fund that actually pumped this article out. As you know, day 3 is typically when we see the top on these crazy moves on biotech stocks. So we'll be looking for a spike on this one on early Monday to short. Downside target, I think it's only a matter of a few days before we see this one back down in the low 2s and under 2. So even if you're not a shorter, definitely one to keep an eye on. Just looking at the pattern, I would look for a gap spike tomorrow. Actually, if this one closes red or opens red tomorrow, it would actually be a good sign, and we'll probably see it move down to 250 by Tuesday or Wednesday on it. So even if you don't short, keep an eye on this one just to see how these crazy, silly biotech moves end up reversing course. So that's it going into tomorrow. ABTL, I think we're going to get a fat move on this one early this week. Same thing with CDII tomorrow and NLS. And, we're hoping to continue the streak of just fantastic winners. On Friday, we actually had a really great late day trade. Let me pull that up. In the chat room, we jumped into ADLR on this range breakout at 122 to 124. Ended up hitting or trading as high as $1.34 late in the day. So I mean, we got a 5% move on a stock late in the day in the chat room, which was fantastic. So definitely come into the chat room if you've got a chance, and I will see you in there tomorrow. Good night.